Today we're going to be reviewing some quadratic expressions and equations because later on we're going to be finding solutions for proportions in similar triangles involving binomials and quadratics. So let's take a look at the first example where we're going to be multiplying to form a quadratic expression. We're going to be applying the distributive property, so this is going to be x times x, which is going to give me x squared, and then x times 6, which is going to give me a positive 6x. So this is an example of a quadratic expression because it has an exponent of 2. So anytime you have an exponent of 2 and that's the highest exponent, it's a quadratic expression. Let's take a look at letter B. You're going to distribute the 2x. So you have 2x times x, which will give you 2x squared. And then you're going to go 2x times a negative 6. Make sure that you have the sign that's in front of the number when you're multiplying. And that's going to give us a negative 12x. For letter C, you have x times 3x, which is 3x squared, and then x times negative 1, that's going to give you minus x. Now, letter D is multiplying two binomials. So there's a couple ways you can do this. Many of you from Algebra 1 might remember the acronym of FOIL, which means first, outer, inner, last. And the other way to multiply binomials would just be to use distribution. So first, let's apply FOIL, and then we'll do distribution for letter E. So the F stands for the first terms. So that would be x times x, which is going to give you x squared. The O stands for the outermost terms, so that's going to be the x and the 3. So x times 3, and that's a positive 3, is going to give you 3x. The I stands for the innermost terms. So the innermost terms are 6 and x, so that's going to give me 6x. And then L stands for the last terms, which are 6 and 3. So 6 times 3 is 18. Then you combine the like terms in the middle. So your final answer would be x squared plus 9x plus 18. So FOIL is one of the most common ways that students choose to multiply binomials. Let me show you what the distribution looks like. So basically what we're going to do is take this x and multiply it by the x minus 3. And then we're going to take the positive 6 and also multiply it to the x minus 3. Then we're going to apply distributive property. So you have x times x, that's going to give you x squared, and then x times negative 3 is negative 3x. Then you're going to distribute the 6, so 6 times x is 6x. And then you have 6 times negative 3, that's going to be negative 18. And then you would combine your like terms in the middle, which would be x squared plus 3x minus 18. I'm probably going to continue to use FOIL throughout the class, but I may use this sometimes too. So let's take a look at letter F. If we're using FOIL, the first terms would be 3x times x, which is 3x squared. And then the outer terms would be 3x and negative 6. That's going to give me negative 18x. The I would be the innermost terms, so that would be negative 2 and x, which is negative 2x. And the L would be the last terms, and you want to make sure you're watching your signs here. This is negative 2 times negative 6. That's going to give you a positive 12. And then you're going to combine your like terms in the middle, which are your x terms. So you have 3x squared, and then you have negative 18 and negative 2. So negative 18x and negative 2x, that's going to give you negative 20x, and then the 12 at the end. So this would be your final answer. The next examples are going to be factoring quadratic expressions, which is just kind of doing the reverse of the distributive property. So all of these up here were already in factored form. These ones have already been multiplied, so now we're basically going to be undoing the multiplication. So when you have something that looks like this, You have an x squared, a 7x, and there's no third constant over here. You're just going to see if you can factor out a common GCF. And for this one, you're just going to factor out an x. So if I take an x out, if you remember your exponent rules, x squared, if you're dividing by x, you're going to subtract the exponent. So 2 minus 1, that's just going to give you x. And then these x's are going to divide out to a 1, and that's just going to give you 7. So you have x times x minus 7 for your final answer. Now let's take a look at letter B. Both of them have an x that I can factor out, but 14 and 21 also share a common factor of 7. So for this one, we're going to factor out a 7x from both terms. So we're just going to divide. So the 7x comes to the front because that's what we're taking out. 14 divided by 7, that's going to give me 2. And then if there's 2 x's and I'm factoring out 1, that's going to leave me with 1 on the inside. And then 21 divided by 7 is 3. And then these x's here will divide out to be a 1. So your final answer is 7x times 2x plus 3. Let's move on to letter C. What can you factor out of letter C? You can factor out an x. So if I take an x out, that's going to leave me with 7x minus, and then x over x is just going to be 1. So my final answer is x times 7x minus 1. Notice that these next two problems now have 3 terms. So when I'm factoring quadratics that have 3 terms, I typically use what's called a diamond problem, or it's also called a magic x. So the first thing I do is create an x, and this last number will go in the top part, and the middle number will go in the bottom. So what I need to find out now are two numbers that multiply to this top number, so two numbers that multiply to 12, and those same two numbers need to add to 7. So these two numbers are 4 and 3, and the order in which you put them here doesn't matter. See, I could have written a 3 and a 4. Next, we draw a line above those numbers, and we're going to take this x squared term and we're going to write it on top. So the terms that you have here are going to represent your binomials. So right here I have an x and a positive 4. So I can write that as x plus 4, and on the right hand side I have an x and a positive 3, so that's going to be x plus 3. Nothing can be simplified further out of these binomials, so that means that this is my final answer. Now let's take a look at letter E. We can start by drawing our magic x. What number will go up here? The negative 30 will go up here. It's important that you take the sign that's in front of the number to make sure your answer has the right sign. Now we have the 7x. So the 7x, or the 7, is the number that will go down here. Next, we need two numbers that will multiply to negative 30, and these same two numbers will add to 7. So when you have a negative and a positive, like we have here, when these numbers add to a positive number, that means that your larger number will be positive. If this were a negative 7, then the negative would go to the larger number. So think of two numbers that multiply to negative 30 but add to positive 7. These two numbers would be 10 and negative 3. So positive 10 and negative 3 will give me a positive 7. And like I said earlier, if this were a negative 7, then you would just make the 10 negative and this one positive. Okay, so next we just draw the line that goes above the factors, and then we take the x squared term without the exponent, just the coefficient here, just the x, and we're going to write that above. So we have x and x. This is going to represent one of my binomials. So I have an x and a positive 10, So that's going to be x plus 10. And then this one, notice I have an x and a negative 3. That's just going to be x minus 3. These can't be further simplified, so this is going to be my final answer. Look at letter F. Notice there's no middle term. So this is actually going to be a difference of squares. It's a special quadratic equation. And even if you don't know the shortcut for factoring, we can still apply the same strategy using the x. So my negative 49 represents the top number. So go ahead and put it there. Now remember, my bottom number was the term in the middle, but because I don't have the x term in the middle, that means on the bottom, I'm just going to have a 0. So I need two numbers that multiply to negative 49, but add to 0. These two numbers are 7 and negative 7. Then we're going to draw our line and put our x term, or x squared term, on top and write our binomials. So this one is going to give me x plus 7, and this one is going to give me x minus 7. Now we're just going to have a quick review of how to graph quadratic equations when they are in standard form. So first we're going to find the x value of the vertex. This is also how you're going to find the axis of symmetry. So the formula for that is negative b over 2a. This term represents your b, and then the negative 8 represents the c, and then the number that's in front of the x term represents the a. So because we don't really have a number here, that means that my a term is going to be 1. So we're going to replace these variables with the a and b that were given from our original equation. So we have negative, and then my b term is also negative, so I'm going to use some parentheses there. And over 2 times my a, which is 1. This will simplify to positive 2 over 2, which will give me positive 1. So not only is this going to be the x value of my vertex, it's also going to be the axis of symmetry. So remember, quadratic equations or parabolas are symmetrical. So there's going to be a line of symmetry right here where x is equal to 1. Now to find the y value of my vertex, I'll take my answer for x and I'm going to substitute it back into my original equation to solve for the y value. So that's going to give me 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 8. 1 squared is just 1. 2 times 1 is just going to give me 2, and then minus 8. 1 minus 2 is negative 1, and negative 1 minus 8 is negative 9. So my y value is going to be negative 9 for my vertex. For step 3, we need to find the x-intercepts by using the zero product property and factoring. So first, let's begin by factoring x squared minus 2x minus 8. So for this quadratic, I need two numbers that multiply to negative 8, and these same two numbers add to negative 2. What are the numbers? The numbers are negative 4 and positive 2. So remember, when you have a negative number on the bottom, the larger number will have to be negative. So next, we just draw our line and put the x term there. So one of my binomials is x minus 4, and my other binomial is x plus 2. So to find the x-intercepts, we use the zero product property by setting each of these factors equal to 0. So x minus 4 is equal to 0. Add the 4 to each side. X is equal to 4. And then x plus 2 is equal to 0. Subtract the 2 from each side. You get x is equal to negative 2. You don't really have to go through all of this. You can just look at this and figure out what number will make this entire binomial equal to 0. And that would be 4. So 4 minus 4 is 0. So you know your answer is 4. For this one, what number will make this binomial equal 0? So if you plug in a -2 plus 2 is equal to 0. So that's how you know your x-intercept is -2. So then we just go ahead and graph these on our graph and draw your parabola. When it comes to quadratics, there's a couple names we use to identify x-intercepts. These can be called roots. They're also called zeros. Now let's go through this process again with some practice problems. So step 1 is to find your axis of symmetry, which is also going to be the x value of your vertex using the formula -b over 2a, where the number in front of your x squared term is the a, the number in front of your x term is the b, and then the constant at the end is going to be your c. So when we substitute these values in, we're going to have -4 multiplied by 2 times my a term, which is 1. This is going to give me -4 over 2, which simplifies to -2. So that means on my graph, I'm going to have my axis of symmetry at x equals -2. What do I do to find the y value of my vertex? To find the y value, you have to take your answer for your x and substitute it into your original equation to get your y. This is going to give me -2 squared plus 4 times -2 minus 5. So -2 squared is 4, and then 4 times -2 is -8, and then we have the minus 5 at the end. 4 minus 8 is -4 minus 5, and -4 minus 5 is -9. So this means my vertex is going to be at -2, -9. Next, we're going to factor the quadratic to figure out what my x-intercepts are and use the zero product property to find the roots or zeros. So for this problem, I need two numbers that multiply to -5, and these same two numbers add to 4. What are the two numbers? The only factors of 5 are 5 and 1. But because I have a -5, one of these numbers has to be negative, which will then allow me to add to 4. So because 4 is positive, that means my bigger number needs to be positive, making the 1 negative. So then we write our x term above. So my binomials will be x plus 5 and x minus 1. So what number will make this binomial equal 0? If you add -5 plus 5, that's going to make this binomial equal 0. So that means one of my x-intercepts is -5. And then for the other binomial, a positive 1 will make this binomial equal 0. So my other x-intercept is going to be a positive 1. Go ahead and plot your x-intercepts or roots or zeros, however you want to call them, plot them on your graph. Once you make your parabola, it should look something like this. Go ahead and try letter B, see if you can get the vertex on your own. You should have had a vertex of 3, -1, which would be here. So it's really important here to use parentheses when you're substituting in your b value because there's -1 multiplied by b. So when you have a -1 multiplied by a -b value, it's going to give you a positive answer. And then 6 divided by 2 gave me 3. Once I substituted that back in and simplified, I got a y value of -1. Where are the zeros for this function? The zeros are going to be at 4 and 2. So when you factor this quadratic, you need two numbers that multiply to 8, and these same two numbers add to a -6. So because this number is positive and this number is negative, that means you're going to have a negative times a negative to equal a positive, and then negative plus negative will equal a negative. So your binomials are x minus 4 and x minus 2. Positive 4 will make this binomial equal 0. 2 will make this binomial equal 0, giving us zeros at 4 and 2. Once you plot your zeros, you can graph your parabola.